Shabbat Shalom. We are going to start with a song on page 3, Lecha Dodi. Now there's 9 verses total. I'm going to give you a heads up. We're going to be doing 4 of them. We're doing verses 1, 2, 3, and then we're leaping forward to the last verse, verse 9. Got it? 1, 2, 3, 9. Okay. Shabbat Zechila, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat de Kabbalah, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat de Kabbalah, Mikdash Melech Imelucha Kumitzi, Mitachacha Becharav Lach Shevet, Bahavu Yachmol Alaichem Na Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat de Kabbalah Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat de Kabbalah Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzohol atochem Boi chala, boi chala, yai yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 yai da 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 da.
Indeed. You may be seated. You know why we turn around for the last verse. The last verse welcomes the Shabbat bride, the Shekhinah. And so we turn around and we pretend as if the Shekhinah is walking down the aisle for the Shabbat that is a wedding. Every Shabbat is a wedding between the Shekhinah, the divine feminine presence, and the people Israel. So we get married every Friday night. So mazel tov. Mazel tov. In a lot of ways, that's why Jews also wear white on Shabbat. It's good to be here. Baruchim habayim. Blessed are those who have come into this space, who have joined us through the ether to celebrate the day, the evening, the Kabbalat Shabbat, the welcoming of Shabbat into our lives. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. So there are 3 steps we take in order for us to get into Shabbat according to the Talmud. 3 steps we need to take. The first step is to create an eruv. It's called an eruv. In tangible ways, in Orthodox communities, they thread a thread around the Jewish neighborhood and say, this is the consecrated space, physical space, where Shabbat happens. So they literally, with a string, carve out a space within which Shabbat happens. And that has all kinds of implications regarding to Shabbat laws as to what you can carry, how far you can walk. It gets complicated. We don't have to worry about that. I like the notion of it. I like the idea behind it. That you need to create, not with a thread, but within ourselves. We need to create the space for Shabbat to happen. And that's why every Shabbat, when I first stand up and welcome you, I invite you to close your eyes. So I am inviting you to close your eyes. Because we need together to enter into this space. Now, it is not a space that we have delineated with a cable or with a piece of string that we thread through our neighborhood. And therefore, we need to make Shabbat a space within ourselves. We need to enter into that spaciousness of a day called Shabbat. Whatever that means for you, a day of rest, a day of resourcing. In Hebrew, we call it resouling, to connect back with matters of the soul, away from the mundane, away from material world. So we take a few mindful breaths to create for ourselves, within ourselves, tchum, it's called in Hebrew, tchum Shabbat, the spaciousness of Shabbat within us. Because you can't just walk into the room and say, okay, this is Shabbat now. You have to do a little bit of work. A little bit of surrendering. A little bit of letting go. And knowing that you are now entering into sacred time. And to sanctify that with your breath, with your consciousness, with your awareness. You have to come into your own Shabbat. Good, you can open your eyes. And of course, we'll work together through this time we have tonight, the next 5-6 hours, to invite you more and more deeply into that sacred time. That's why at Bet Aleph we take our Friday night services are a little longer, because we believe that it takes the time it takes with music, with prayers, with words, with meditation to step into this sacred space, with this sacred time. So we'll do that, and we'll do that every time you come, except next time. Next time, all bets are off. Next time is Purim, so. The second thing we do, according to the Talmud, to enter into Shabbat is we give tzedakah. We share of the abundance of our life. Because once we enter into a space in our minds, in our heart, that is Shabbat, we're suddenly in touch with the inner compassion within us, the gratitude for all the blessings that are parts of our life. And when we touch into all the blessings and share thankfulness for what we have, we also remember those who don't have. And whether we have a little or a lot makes actually no difference. Statistically, it is shown that those who have less money give more to charities as a percentage of their income as the wealthiest on the planet. So it really doesn't matter. It's a gift from the heart. At Bet Aleph, we dedicate our tzedakah, whatever you share with us, whatever your part of your spiritual entering into Shabbat, part of this giving of tzedakah, of charity, of justice. We take half of what you give, and we in turn, as a community, do tzedakah in the bigger world. And this month we are going to dedicate our tzedakah to the Jewish Coalition for Immigrant Justice. It's an organization that was founded in 2017 by 5 Jewish women, members of 5 different synagogues in Seattle. Lynn Carroll, one of our members, was part of that initial group. And the Jewish Coalition for Immigrant Justice mobilizes individuals, also obviously Jewish organizations throughout the state of Washington and even in Oregon, to partner with immigrant-led organizations that are supporting and working on behalf and being advocacy groups for those who have come to our land, to our shores for a better life legally, and are unfortunately these days confronted with a harsh and heartless adversarial system. So it feels fitting this month that we as a community would give and make a contribution to those organizations, the Jewish Coalition for Immigrant Justice, that are standing in the front line of this difficult fight right now. So that's the second step of our 3 steps to step into Shabbat. I'm going to invite you to find our tzedakah box in the back of the sanctuary. If you've brought with you a few dollar bills or whatever you have. If you didn't bring anything, fret not. We have a Venmo QR code right by the box, and you can Venmo tzedakah to Bet Aleph, and we'll make sure to send it to where it belongs. If you're at home watching, participating, please find the donate button wherever you're watching, and there is a drop-down menu that says tzedakah, and go click on that and make your gift. Small, big, doesn't matter. Any gift works. Then we'll do our 3rd step, which is to light our Shabbat candles. And so I'm going to invite those who are lighting candles tonight to come forward while the music plays, and all of this is happening in the sanctuary right now. Go ahead.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha ve'al yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam.
That song is on page 11, at the top of page 11, if you want to follow the words.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. Ki ata Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levorach et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam.
So we take the third step of our entering into Shabbat, lighting our Shabbat candles. Members of our community come forward and light our candles and share with us what it is they are lighting for, what they are dedicating their light to. And we're going to start on our right with Paulina Libes, and Paulina is lighting 2 candles tonight. She's lighting 1 candle for her father-in-law, Simon Chester, on his 17th yahrzeit, and 1 for her friend, Emily Schaefer, on her 15th yahrzeit. Oh, next to Paulina, we have Eileen and Mark. Lighting, Eileen Weintraub is lighting for Sylvia Weintraub, her mother, on her 8th yahrzeit. Mother-in-law, of course. And next to them is Greg Rubin, and Greg is lighting in memory of his mother, Alice Rubin, on her 4th yahrzeit. And then on our left, Celia Curran is lighting in celebration of the Seattle Jewish Chorale, has hired their first ever director of development, and as a board member, Celia had a large, medium-sized hand in the interview process. She says she's very excited for the gift this role will bring the chorale, especially in planning their 18th anniversary gala for their Chai year. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. And
I'll let you all know about the gala when it happens.
Oh, of course.
June 7th.
Okay. And at home, Pesha Klein. Pesha Klein is lighting her Shabbat candles at home, honoring her father, Dan Klein, on his 6th yahrzeit. Dan was a kind, gentle, and patient father, a mechanical engineer, a math whiz, and an artist. And also lighting her candles at home is Shelley Oakley, lighting with a full heart in memory of her mom, Janice Stern, who passed moments after they received the first photo of their grandson Micah after his birth 12 years ago today. And they are celebrating Micah's birthday and Randy's and Shelley's 42nd anniversary, which was yesterday, and with a wonderful adventure in Montana, Yellowstone Park, and Idaho. Life is good, she says, and they are feeling so blessed. Amen. And I always turn to you and ask you, if you were up here, or at home as you are also lighting your candles, just to close your eyes and check in within yourself. What would you be, or what are you lighting are your Shabbat candles for tonight? What is the light you seek to bring into your life? Light of celebration, light of mourning, light of honoring, just light maybe. Whether you are able to name that light or not, the blessing is on page 1 in your prayer book. It is the blessing over the light of Shabbat, not the candles, because what we are blessing is the light awakening within each of us. And we cover our eyes to remind us to turn inward as we bless the light within ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Thank you all. And as everybody returns to their seat, we turn to page 5 in our prayer book and we rise for the Baruch Hu, for the call to blessing. We say together, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Bless the Eternal, the one who is blessing. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Blessed is the Eternal, the one who is blessing eternally. At the top of page 6, we meet the words from the book of Deuteronomy, the words of the Shema, the words that are the central affirmation, the central mantra of our meditative tradition that goes back thousands of years. The words that call us to listen. That call us to listen to the still small voice within us. The voice of the one that transcends and yet is within all that is. And to know ourselves to be an expression of that oneness. Join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel, the eternal manifests as all that is. The eternal is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is the name. The splendor of its presence shines eternally.
Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael. You may be seated. We continue in the middle of the page with the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha v'dibartam b'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך
ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. And we're going to stand again as we turn to page 8 and enter into the Amidah. We say together at the top of the page, Adonai Svatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Eternal One, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah ve'Elohei Rachel Ha'el HaGadol
הגיבור והנורא אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מחדקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. Please be seated. And we turn to page 30, at the top of page 30 in our prayer book. Diana chose that song because this week's parasha, this week's Torah portion, talks about the building of the tabernacle in the wilderness. And the measurements for the tabernacle in the wilderness became the measurement for building the temple in Jerusalem. We think that actually it's the other way around, that the temple was already there, and the writers of the story projected onto a fictional past the measurement of the temple they already had. Either way, it was a means to create sacred space. And this song at the top of page 30 the verse is taken from the book of Psalms. It's a song, it's a prayer that seeks to help us awaken to the fact that the house of the One is neither anymore, for sure, neither in the ancient wilderness as a portable structure or in an ancient Jerusalem as the temple that stood there, but in fact, as our rabbis have taught us for thousands of years, it is in our own homes. And the rabbis of the Talmud teach that we need to see our dining table in our living room or our kitchen, wherever your dining table is, as the stand-in for the altar in the temple in Jerusalem. And so we have made our homes our temples, and we seek to, in our spiritual journey, to make ourselves as well as the temples within which the divine presence come to dwell. Shifti beveit Adonai.
Shifti of my life. Shivti b'vet Adonai, kol yemei chayai. Shivti b'vet Adonai, kol yemei chayai. Kol yemei chayai, kol yemei chayai. Shivti b'vet Adonai, kol yemei chayai.
What a time this has been. I mean, truly amazing. Fantastic. We've just recently lived through this moment, this day, this unspeakable, unfathomable day of revelation, where we heard what we think were the 10 pronouncements, the 10 commandments. And we've been encamped at the foot of Mount Sinai ever since. In fact, we are going to stay encamped at the foot of Mount Sinai for a while longer. But we're still digesting. We're still processing what happened. We're still not exactly sure what an awesome moment that was. And we've been trying, because that's kind of a human nature, if you want. We've been trying to make tangible this out-of-body experience that we had just 2 weeks ago. Ish. We went to Moses and we say, help us. Give us something. How do we translate this into everyday life? And so Moses went out of his way to give us, a list of rules, a list of practices for us to do. And we told him, we don't really understand this whole thing. We don't really understand, but whatever you are telling us, na'aseh v'nishma, we'll do it. And maybe in the doing of it, we'll understand. We hope that through the doing, we'll understand what's underneath. Because this direct download just was too big for us. So we're really trying to make it tangible. And so maybe the rules and the laws and the practices that Moses gave us, can help us out. And we realize that even that, it's hard. It's hard for us. And so this week, God understands our predicament and gives us the opportunity to build a concrete structure. And if we can make it into some tangible thing, not just rules and laws, but some tangible thing, something we can see, we can touch, we can be in and out of it. Like maybe that will give us something. The Torah tells us, "Ve'asu li mikdash ve'shachanti betocham," which usually gets translated, and let them make me a sanctuary. Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. So powerful, that sentence, that we as a community decided to engrave it at the top of the ark. Ve'asu li mikdash ve'shachanti betocham. Let them make me a sanctuary, a sacred place that I may dwell among them. Ve'shachanti betocham. And then from this verse forward, the entire rest of the Torah portion is like an IKEA book where we're given all the instructions on how to build this sacred place, this sanctuary, this tabernacle. Why did we do that? Why did we feel the need to do that? I think we tried to take the experience of Sinai along with us. We try to take that experience with us, to build something so sacred to our eyes that it would seem as if being in the presence of that structure would remind us of the moment at Sinai. But we need to really assign that structure a lot of sacred and holy energies. If we make that structure sacred enough, then we have a chance to keep the taste of that experience, though it would be twice removed, but it will give us something to remind us of what we felt there. The tabernacle, the mikdash, Vasuli mikdash, mikdash from kadosh, from kiddush, right? Means sacred, sanctified. So this mikdash, this tabernacle, this portable sacred structure, it was in order for us to capture God, right? We build a space and we say that's where God is going to dwell as we travel through the wilderness. God is going to dwell in the tabernacle. Let's build a place for God to come and rest in the middle of us, in the midst of our people. So I thought of the tabernacle this year, if I can do this. And I failed that class in rabbinic school. I know. I thought about the tabernacle this year as the structure that would capture God so we can travel with God through the wilderness. I thought, my God, we built a lamp to capture the genie. And so we could travel through the wilderness with the lamp and the genie in it. Fascinating. You see what we did? We said not only do we want to remember Sinai and the awe of Sinai by building this sacred structure, but also we want to bring God with us. We're going to put God in the tabernacle, like the genie in the lamp. I think psychologically there could be books written about this. What was the psychology of, what was the need, the yearning of these people lost in the desert by itself, not knowing where to go next, not knowing that they couldn't go back, knowing that all that was waiting behind them was death. And they have this yearning, this need, let's build something and we're going to put God in it. And God will be with us. Like the genie could protect us and grant us all our wishes, manna and everything. And that, as I said, that tabernacle and the dimensions of the tabernacle became the dimensions, obviously manifold, of the temple in Jerusalem. So we took this portable structure, this traveling lamp with its genie in it, and we make it in a fixed structure at the top of Mount Zion in Jerusalem. Mount Zion, hence Zionism, because of Mount Zion and our temple there. But then the temple was burned to the ground by Rome in 70 CE, and the genie escaped. In Kabbalah, or in Jewish tradition, not just Kabbalah, in the entire Jewish tradition, it says that the Shekhinah went into exile. And the temple was destroyed. The Shekhinah, the divine feminine indwelling presence in the world, the Shekhinah was exiled. The genie escaped the lamp. So what are we going to do? How are we going to reconnect with the genie? How we're going to embrace and bring the Shekhinah into our lives again when it could be anywhere now, anywhere. And we decided that we were going to use the same injunction in the Torah, but we're going to apply it differently. The rabbis understood we needed to tweak it a little bit. Ve'asu li mikdash ve'shachanti b'tocham now would mean let them create sacred spaciousness that I might dwell within them. Because the Hebrew allows for this translation, for this understanding. Let them create sacred spaciousness that I might dwell within them, not among them, within them. Subtle but powerful distinction. And so what the rabbis did was that they understood that we needed to create a sacred container that was no longer a physical container. Even our synagogues, they are not understood as sacred places. Even if in the Reformed tradition they call synagogues temples, there's all kinds of political reasons and historical reasons for that. I don't have time tonight to do this, but synagogues literally means places of gathering. That's all it means. It's community centers. The rabbis never assigned to space the sacredness. They assigned sacredness from the world of concrete space to the world of time. That's what they did. That's the magical trick that the rabbis did. And now time became the lamp of my terrible metaphor. And so what we needed to do, according to the rabbi, is to make the lamp of time holy enough and sacred enough in our own eyes, like we did with the tabernacle in the wilderness, for the genie to come back and dwell within it and dwell within us. Because time is of us. So what would it look like? The rabbi asked, why would it look like to sanctify time? How do we go about doing that? And I'm asking you, what would you do in order to sanctify time? I think we all would do more or less the same things. We would probably make sure that the time that we dedicate to be sacred is unique, is different than the rest of the time. If not, it's not sacred time, which is interesting because the word kadosh, which means sacred, also means separated. So to make something sacred in Jewish tradition, in Hebrew, means to make it separate from the rest of the time, from the rest. So we would need to do things during that time that we don't do, or the opposite. We would need to not do things during the time that we do the rest of the time. It has to be unique. It has to be special. So everything should be different. And we should do things, if we're going to do things, we should do things that also, like the tabernacle, give us a taste of Sinai, give us a taste of the sublime, the taste of revelation. What would that look like, you think? What would we do? If you were the rabbis 2,000 years ago and you had this conversation, what would we do? I think we would talk about having some practices that would spiritually elevate us. Beyond the mundane, beyond the material world, we would need to create opportunities for inwardness, right? To break free of this ongoing outward living. We live always for what's out there. This time, if we want to make it sacred time, I think we should do something that brings up inwardness within us. Would you agree? I think if we were sitting in Jerusalem talking amongst us rabbis, we would say that would be a thing we would like to do. I think we would say, you know what, we would need to let go of the world. We would need to let go of the world. Like a retreat. A retreat. A time that would be like a spiritual retreat. I think we would want to dwell in stillness. And just let go of all the busyness of stuff. Because the rest of the time, we're just so busy, running here, running there, and right, we would need to stop. We would need to stop that. We would need to stop that. And we would need to let go of all the things that are distractions. all the things that captures our minds, that, that keep us locked onto things that are not of the soul, that are not inward looking. I think if we all sat together 2,000 years ago and decided those were going to be our main point to create this sacred lamp of time, we would call it Shabbat. Because that's what they did. That is exactly what they did. They sat together and they said, how can we do this? Well, we're going to do this. Well, what they did is that they also said to us, well, it's nice to think about all the things we want that are good. We want all the things that I shared right now, and I think we would agree. But it's one thing to talk about it. How do we ensure people are able to actually physically really do it? So we'll call the day Shabbat, the day of rest, the day of withdrawing from this busy world. But then we'll give them something to do. We'll give them stuff. We all of us need, it's like the tabernacle. You need the IKEA manifest that tells you, okay, how do you build a sacred time? How do you build sacred time? It doesn't just happen like this. So you do the 3 steps that I shared with you at the beginning of the evening. Those will be the first 3 steps. Create a physical space or a spiritual space within yourself. Give charity and enter into that day bringing light. That would be a way, the doorway into Shabbat. That will be your doorway. The get ready and then enter. We would say, if we want to disconnect from the world, we would say, you and me, because now 2,000 years later, things have changed a little bit. Disconnect from the world, well, turn off your cell phone, turn off your computer, don't turn on the TV, don't get the newspaper on Saturday, right? Just cut the world out for 24 hours, like completely. We would need to do that, because if not, then the world is going to overwhelm us and we won't be able to create sacred time. We would do no work. We would not work. Not only would we not work, but if we are in, between us, family, community, we would not even talk about work. That would be like a taboo topic, because those are the things we do the rest of the week. On this day that we called Shabbat, we agreed on that name. We're not going to talk about work, and we're going to do any work at all. We're going to rest, complete rest. And that actually is hard. We're going to actually allow ourselves to rest. Whew. That's going to be hard. Because some of us are workaholics, and some of us, comes that day, will catch up on all the things, the garden, the mail, we'll finally have that time, so we got to catch up. And so we'll lose the sacred time. We'll desecrate the time we have carved for our soul, for our heart. So we'll need to do no work. We need to no talking about work. We need to allow ourselves to rest. This complete allowing of ourselves to do nothing. To do nothing. So what we'll need to do is prepare all the meals beforehand. Right? Prepare all the meals beforehand so that we don't have even to cook. We don't have even to cook. It's all ready to go. We can just warm it up. We make some allowances for 21st century people, right? But we won't cook. We won't do any work. We won't go shopping. We're not going to engage in the capitalist world of material possessions. No shopping, no selling, no buying. For 24 hours. Can you imagine the time that will leave us to call our loved ones, those old friends we haven't talked to for a long time, to read that book that has been on our bedside table for how long? It's collecting dust. At this point, you don't even remember why you bought it. If you have little children to play board games, suddenly there is so much to be a part of other people, that are also making this time sacred together with us. We come together in this sacred moment, in this sacred time, to pray, to sing, to dance, to meditate. But all of that would have to be structured, because if you don't structure it, you're not going to do it. So I know a lot of us are, the Orthodox, I can't believe they're doing this, and how restrictive Shabbat, and they can't do this, and they can't do that. Well, but if we were to construct our own tabernacle, we would probably have to force ourselves to enter into sacred time, because the ego wants distractions. The ego wants movement. The ego wants to be doing stuff. So there we go. And when we get to that place with all the rules and laws that we would have put in place for ourselves, we would have carved for ourselves a day to bring the genie back into the lamp of time, to touch the sacredness of our lives, to touch what truly matters, to no longer be enslaved to social media, to the fake goals that society imposes upon us, and to live from a grounded place with a genie of time by our side, and to make the most out of this life. So this spring, in a few weeks, you'll see an email in your inbox, because I am cooking up a whole 10-week course on learning to keep Shabbat for ourselves. Because I think we need to reclaim our lives from this world and to reclaim our soul from this soulless, heartless place. So I'll invite you. I hope you join me. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen. Well, you don't have to go far. Page 31 is the song that uses the verse to help us enter, in fact, into meditation. Ve'asu li mikdash. We can dim the lights.
ועשו לי מקדש Make sacred space for me to dwell, and I will be with you. Make sacred space for me to dwell, and I will be with you. Make sacred space for me to dwell, and I will be with you. Make sacred space for me to dwell, and I will be with you.
If you haven't already, I invite you to close your eyes. We'll get into meditation, as the song is inviting us already into practice. To create ourselves as sacred place. To know ourselves as a sacred container for the presence of the One. Right here in our heart of hearts. To know the One breathing this breath. To know the One beating this heart. To know that each of us is a sacred tabernacle for the Shekhinah to dwell within. You are holy. And the person sitting next to you is also a sacred tabernacle where the Shekhinah, the divine feminine indwelling presence, comes to rest. One of my favorite quotes from a teacher whose name is Muji. I've shared it with you before. He says, "You are a gift from God. Stop identifying yourself with the wrapping paper. Make sacred space within yourself for me to dwell." This breath is sacred. In Torah, we read that when Adam was created, God breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life. God is breathing through your nostrils the breath of life moment to moment. Another teacher whose name escapes me taught that there is no ordinary moment. There is a still small voice that comes from within us, that comes from our heart. A still small voice that whispers, I am the one, I am, I am. 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 And this still small voice within us sings within the hearts of all peoples, all around this world, sings songs of healing and embrace in the hearts of all those we know to be in need of healing and embrace in our lives, our inner circles, or the world over. That still small voice speaks words of healing. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, מי שברך אמותינו, שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא יברך וירפא. That still small voice will bless and heal all those you have lovingly inscribed on our community's healing list. David Mark, Daniel Clark, Lawrence Stern, Elizabeth Heath, Margaret Bergman Ness, Deborah Liebes, Julie Wilchins, Leif Sorensen, Juan Reyes, Ann Adams, Dorothy Hirschman, Harris Levitt, Amy Fairchild, Leanne Guyer, Shirley Thompson, Judy Latif, Brian Back, Janice Sano, Blaze Banks, Brandon Umancio, Michael Alvarez, Kaylee Gusios, Celia Curran, Penny Vogel, Joe Vogel, Pam Heller, Carrie Kindom, Lynn Carroll, Nancy Ishii, Brian Stewart, Susan Hoffman, Don Thompson. We name in our hearts the names of those we include in the circle of healing tonight. ימלא רחמים עליהם לחזקם ולרפאותם רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף. And we share a prayer, a song for healing, waters of healing. As the lights come back into the sanctuary, you will find it at the bottom of page 34.
Thirst for love and truth. waters of life, rise up and we'll sing with you. אז ישיר ישראל את השירה הזאת, ולבנו לה. אז ישיר ישראל את השירה הזאת, rise up and we'll sing with you.
It is my hope that you have finally entered into Shabbat. And we turn to page 12 for the concluding moment of our time together. And we rise for the Aleinu. We say together, we are the ones given this way of praising the Holy One of all being, that we might understand and express the greatness of the one who shapes all creation. We celebrate our uniqueness and that of others, and seek to discover the wonder that we are. Therefore, we bend the knees, we bow, and we proclaim our gratitude before the ruler of all rulers, the Holy One of all being. As it is said, then we shall truly realize the Eternal One as universal being, and on that day, the unity of being shall be celebrated by all. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו And before we turn to page 13, for the Mourner's Kaddish, I'd like to invite all of us to hold in our hearts, to hold in our minds the faces, the smiles of those who have made their transitions from this level of being, continuing on their journey into the next. In a moment of memory, of honoring memory, of mourning, we hold all we remember in energies of compassion, energies of forgiveness, ultimately energies of love. And through the words of praise that the Kaddish is, we remind ourselves to praise every precious moment that we get to be with one another right here in this life. On this Shabbat, we hold in light of memory those who have made their transition in recent days and weeks, those for whom we still mark Shiva or Shloshim. Keith Arts, a friend of Stu Heller. Dr. Eli Savadi, a friend of our community. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those who have made their transition this past year. Misha Burson, Rich Hall, Amy Lowe, Roy Sproul, Doris Paley, Frank Wodica, Billy Phillips, Eddie Goldman, Shirley Mae Ansel Brown, Jerry Sanderson, Pauline Douglas, Neil Harms, Neil Bernard Levitt, Phil Berkowitz, Pam Powell, Robert Hunter, Shelley Cohen, Jody Yakno, Michael Krupkin. On this Shabbat, we also hold, in light of memory, those who have made their transition, those whose anniversary of their transition sorry happens at this time of the year. Gustav Aharon Ben Chaim, Alice Rubin, Dan Klein, Rochelle Tansman, Cushing, Alan Grant Oakley, Janice Stern, Simon Chester, Emily Schaefer, Robert Lee Sherman. And we name in our hearts the names of those we also remember tonight as we share the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 13. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Be'alma divera chirute ve'yamlich malchute B'chayechon uve'yomechon U'b'chaye dechol beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehi shema Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ויתהדר ויתהלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לאלה מן כל בחתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all the household of Israel, and for all the peoples of the world. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. I have a few announcements. First, we continue our Beit Midrash tomorrow morning, 10:30 in person across the street in the little White House that is also our office space, or online. If you want to participate on Zoom, just drop me an email and I'll send you the Zoom link if you don't already have it. We are literally in the middle of the 6th day of creation. So we started at Simchat Torah, so it's been about 4 months. 6 days, 4 months. I think we're making a lot of progress. We're doing great. So please join us. It's the second half of the 6th day where Adam is created. So we're going to be talking for an hour and a half about that. It's going to be amazing. Sacred Pause, which is our lay-led study of Torah, is happening next on February 28th at 10 a.m. Same thing, in person, exclusively in person, in our Bet Aleph office. It starts at 10 a.m. with a 30-minute meditation, and then at 10:30 until noon, study of the weekly Torah portion, part of our Shabbat, part of creating sacred time for ourselves. And it's entirely led. I'm not even going. I'm going shopping. Oh no, I'm not supposed to do that. So please join us. You have to register for this, so we need to know who's coming. If you get our newsletter, there's the link there to register. I'm leading United in Spirit once again. It's the year that I've been doing it, many years. It's on March 14th. It starts, I think, at 10 a.m. It's also in our newsletter, and the link to register for that event is there too. It's an interfaith event. I'm sharing the space for, I think it's 10 to 4 that Saturday, that Shabbat, with Imam Jamal Rahman, Brother Dave from the Christian faith, and a Buddhist Zen practitioner. And we're all going to talk about how to be resilient. What are the teachings from each of our faith about resilience in times of, I don't know, chaos? Is that a good word? I think that would qualify. So how to be resilient in times of chaos from each of our traditions. It should be an enlightening day. Our next Shabbat, 2 weeks from now, March 6th, will be Purim. This is the best show in town. Don't just book your night. It's not on Purim because, we do it whenever we come together. So we'll be a few days after Purim, but if you already celebrate Purim, it's on Tuesday, Wednesday. Just, do a Purim week and come and join us Friday night. The theme for our Purim this year will tell the story of Esther through the songs and in the costumes of the 1980s. And this is what? Totally.
It's going to be totally super awesome, but don't gag me with a spoon or anything.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So you remember the 80s? Big shoulder pads, very flashy collars.
Neon. Lots of
neon collars. Madonna. Maybe I'll come as Madonna. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So just remember your 80s if you can, and find what works. But in the last few Shabbats, I have ridiculed myself in front of you, and you've loved it. So there's one more chance for me to be ridiculed in a way to promote Purim, to give us a taste of how insanely hilarious it's going to be. And I have parodied a few songs. So this one comes from 1981. See if you know that song. And the context I give you, because it has to be put in the context of the book of Esther. Mordechai, one of the heroes of the book of Esther, is watching Esther leaving the village as the soldiers of the king have gone and looked around for maiden to replace Vashti, who's been dethroned just recently. And he's watching Esther, who is soon going to join Achashverosh's harem, and he's talking to himself. Okay? That's the setting. And so he's saying to himself, she's just a small-town girl living in a lonely world. She took the king's challenge, could go anywhere. She's not a city goy, born and raised with Yiddish oys. She took the king's challenge, could go anywhere. And in the harem, some will win, some will lose. Some are born to sing the blues. The Megillah never ends. It goes on and on and on and on. I told her, don't stop believing in God. Hold on to that feeling. Shushan lights people. Don't stop believing in God. Hold on to that feeling. Shushan lights people. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that's how it's going to go. Or worse. Or worse, with better voices and great music. So come, don't miss it. March 6th, 7 p.m. Be there or be square. That's it. That's our Shabbat. Join us for Oneg downstairs. We'll share in wine or juice. We'll share in the challah, and we'll talk to each other, meet each other, and be in community for this sacred time of Shabbat. The last song is on page 28. Those of you who can, please stay behind to help us turn the sanctuary back into CSL. We need all the help we can get. And Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'yakulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'yakulam. Salam Aleinu ve'yakulam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'yakulam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'yakulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'yakulam. Salam Aleinu ve'yakulam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'yakulam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'yakulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'yakulam.
Don't stop believing. Shabbat Shalom.